The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star trio is, they can make the guys around them better, and they can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't know what he was doing taking step-back threes at the end of that regulation when he's got bigs on him and he should be driving to the hole.
It's already bad enough that I'm playing with all these NBA and D1 studs that are unstoppable, and I'm the worst one there, and I can still ball with them. But if I start calling fouls, they'll revoke my privileges. Like, I man up when I play with them.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on Sport.
Not 1 hour, not 2 hours, but 3 hours is the Early Line. And we are into hour number 3 now. It is official. A lot more hot topics on the way, which includes NBA talking points. The coach, JY, will join us, and also Keith Stewart to get us caught up on what's going on in the golfing community, which includes a tournament in the city or just outside the city of brotherly love will take a place with that. But also, hot topics come through here. Did you know a new name, Joe Ranieri, has been chosen for the Utah Hockey Club? Did you know that?
No, I did not. I can't wait to hear what it's going to be here, Donnie. I'm on the edge of my seat here for the Utah Hockey Club.
A new ice age dawns, it says, introducing the Utah Mammoth, as it says. Now, granted, this doesn't even have a check mark under their name here, but it says they have followers and all this stuff. It's correct. Can somebody behind the scenes, is it the Utah Mammoth that's been made official? It looks like it right now. So I'm going with information that's, there we go. So it's official. Yes. So we're not just rolling with punches over here. By the way, the Yeti, we're not allowed to use that. Was that because like the Yeti, like, these type of cups and stuff like that? Like, why couldn't we be the Yeti? Like, that was the perfect name.
Actually, was that a choice? And is it Mammoths or Mammoth? Just one Mammoth. Single. Mammoth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
It looks like a big buffalo. Right. Looks like a buffalo saber over there. Is what we have here. So the Utah Mammoths welcome in because, of course, we know, Joe, when they got their franchise, it's almost impossible to pick a new name. It takes like years to do it. So at least they did that. But congratulations to the ownership group who gouged their own fan base for Utah Hockey Club jerseys and then gouged them again because they changed the name to buy new jerseys. That's the way you do it. Stick it to your own fan base the minute you get there, Joe. Respect. You got to have respect for that.
Mammoth, Yeti, and Outlaws were apparently the three possible names, and they went with Mammoth. And this was the former Arizona Coyotes organization now in Utah, and they are now a Mammoth. So kudos.
All right. Welcome into the league, the Mammoth at this point. We wish you well. I don't. I'm a Flyers fan. I don't wish anybody well. Outside the Flyers, you haven't had many well wishes here in the past, which includes getting robbed in the actual draft lottery here. But that's neither here nor there. It's hour number 3. The energy's high. I don't want to put a damper on it, Joe, and we're ready to talk some NBA action. How about some NBA? You ready for that, Joe? Can we at least do that?
I am so ready for more upsets, Donnie. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling.
Let's reach out to the people that we do every single time in hour number 3 in the first segment. We like to see if we can fade the public or not fade the public with our polls here. SportsGrid, at SportsGrid on X, which underdog is more likely to win outright again in game number 2? Those two choices tonight, obviously, would be the New York Knicks and would be the Denver Nuggets. Is it any surprise tonight that close to 80% of the public has chimed in and said it's going to be the Nuggets? And by the way, I'm not fading the public, Joe Ranieri. I agree with the public.
I faded him on Monday when I was here, and I believe for both of these games where they went chalk, and I said, if there's going to be upsets, it's going to be in game 1 in these series, and we saw it on Monday. Now I think it's adjustment time, and I think it'd be hard to look at the Knicks and Denver. Now, this isn't covering. We're talking about winning outright here. I don't see either of those two teams going 2-0 on the road. So I would have to back the public here tonight in this spot.
Yeah, you know what? I think it makes some sense here. By the way, those price points, plus 400, ooh, nice and juicy. And then for the Nuggets, plus 420, even juicier there. But I do agree with that sentiment. For the Knicks, it was like, yes, they got the victory. Everybody should be happy that they did that. If you're a Knicks backer, you have a Knicks ticket or just a Knicks fan. But it took, hey, this team did something that no other NBA team is going to do, miss this amount of three-point shots and wide open three-point shots. We didn't really get that from the Nuggets. Like, they charged and came back in the fourth quarter and deserved that victory. I think that's playing off a little bit of those price points. So I do think the public is correct tonight. But, Joe, the problems that always we get in trouble is that heavy public underdog favorite, which the Nuggets are close to 8 out of every 10 votes coming in the direction. Does that scare you just a little bit tonight that the public is really charged up over the Nuggets more than the Knicks?
Yeah, listen, they should be. But, again, we saw two underdogs winning games, not mostly because they dominated those games, Donnie, but both of the favorites on Monday shot themselves in the foot in a big way. I don't think we're going to see that for a second consecutive game. So the public's not always wrong. I don't think they're wrong here tonight.
No, and we take a look at the updated odds market here at the FanDuel Sportsbook for those two games tonight, 7 p.m. in the TD Garden, not Madison Square Garden. We're still playing in Boston. That line opened up as a 10-point favorite. It's now 10.5 at the FanDuel Sportsbook and 10.5 at just about every outlet. 2.5 to 11.5 as the total, slightly up from 210.5. The Knicks and the Celtics game number 2. We'll handicap this all throughout these segments here in hour number 3, but looking at that line, heavy favorite, anticipation. They're not as bad as they played in game number 1, and they should be able to roll in game number 2.
Yeah, but I'm not, again, the same reason that I took the Knicks on Monday, Donnie, holds true here. Forget about the recency bias and watching them chuck up and miss, 45 threes there. Forget about that. The reality is the Boston Celtics have not covered double-digit spreads at home all year long. That's not going to change because they lost game 1. I would only look to take the points in this spot with the Knicks. I mean, how in the world are we expecting them to all of a sudden now they're worth laying 10.5 points? Not for me. It's I'll take the points. They don't have to cover this in order to win. They just got to win. So I don't think we're getting over 10.5 here. Absolutely not.
Exactly. Like the expectations for the win, certainly on the Celtics side, they're a heavy favorite, double digits. They're the better basketball team overall. But also understand, like the Knicks understand, they got away with one in game number 1 and won. I don't think their game plan is like, hey, you know what? Celtics going to get us tonight, so let's just roll over and go back 1-1. You want to take a look at some other organizations like the Indiana Pacers that go, we could have rolled over in game number 2. No, we wanted to drive that dagger in, then go back home and finish the job off where we don't even have to return back to the other city at that point. Game number 2 tonight, the Denver Nuggets, who are holding that 80% advantage in our public poll today, going up against the Thunder. Also, line open up at 11, still sits at 11. 10.5s are starting to crack through here with a little bit more money coming in on the Nuggets tonight, but a heavy public dog tonight, getting a lot of the votes, getting 11 points, Joe.
Again, the same situation here. I mean, Oklahoma City did themselves no favors in that first game, but The difference in that game, Donnie, was Oklahoma City has basically coasted for the most part over the last couple of months here. They've had no challenges. They haven't had their back up against the wall in any way, shape, or form. And all of a sudden, when they were finally pushed, they folded. And that's the problem with OKC, which is why it's hard for me to go out and lay double digits with a team that has already proven not all that experienced in these kinds of spots. What are they going to do tonight, Donnie, when Denver punches back at them again and may have the lead there in the fourth quarter? What are we going to get from them? Not 11-point win, I don't think. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're looking at two desperate teams, which usually the desperate team is the lower seed, the higher seeded team, just looking to get a win, saying we got to enter into the equation. But now you're taking a look at the Celtics and the Thunder, saying we're supposed to be two of the best teams in the NBA, and according to the FanDuel Sportsbook, the odds market, we're supposed to win these championship games, not lose in round number two. We'll find out if they're tough for the test, and also some different angles that we can play into, because we do look at, let's just say, the totals themselves and the sides. Got a pretty good way to look at this Celtics game. We'll talk about that more next. It's Joe and Donnie in the morning on a Wednesday.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Right back at it tonight, talking some NBA action. There is a doubleheader tonight, and it's massive. It's not for the lower-seeded teams here to say, hey, guess what? We're going to enter the series. The higher-seeded team, come on, man, play up. Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunder. You need wins? You're getting priced as if you're supposed to get wins tonight, both of these at double digits. If we start with the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks, as I teased before the break, you see the price point, minus 10.5 as a favorite towards the Boston Celtics, and a total of 211.5. I don't necessarily, Joe Ranieri, want to take this game full game and say Boston should win this going away. If they're mediocre from three-point range, maybe they do win by 10 to 15 points and cover that spread. The one thing I need to know, though, and I need to see for the Boston Celtics, we can't leave any doubt. And I don't mean by winning the third quarter and winning the fourth quarter. I mean the first quarter and the second quarter. On the FanDuel Sportsbook, -6.5 earlier today was the price point for the first half spread between the Celtics and the Knicks. If I'm putting my money on a game tonight and I want to center it on the Boston Celtics, I expect dominance in the first half and maybe you cruise in the second half. I don't want to be left where a Karl-Anthony Towns 3 goes down when they're down 11 points to make it 8 points at that point. I want to make sure my team is engaged off the bat, and I believe they will because they understand the task is you can't go down 0-2, but you can dig yourself a grave in the first half that could be hard to dig out of in the second. Give me -6.5 in the first half for the Boston Celtics against the New York Knicks. How are you playing this game tonight, Joe?
You know what, Donnie? I don't hate that look. Also, you know what? I wouldn't mind taking a first quarter shot with the with Boston Celtics, laying probably 2.5, maybe 3 points in that spot there. This is a team that will come out and will continue. Anybody thinking they ain't gonna, they missed 45. They attempted 63s in game one. They're not going to change the way they play. They're too good a shooting team. The percentage of threes they make will go up. It'll probably happen early, so I like that play. And by the same time, if I'm expecting the percentage of made threes to go up, not a whole lot of less volume, then we're going way over this total of 211.5. I would even take it further to say I'll take the Celtics team total up and over 110.5 here tonight, Donnie, because if what we both know to be true, if there's going to be some positive regression here, I don't see how they're not scoring close to in the 115, closer to 120 here, because those threes will fly here tonight again for the Celtics.
And you take a look at the betting markets here, specifically the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you click the stats button here, percentage of bets against the spread, 75%. Going with the New York Knicks tonight. So most people want to take those points, and rightfully so. If you're just watching the past couple of games, particularly in round number 2, the Dogs have had such a decisive advantage. It's hard to buck that trend. We'll see how it points out. But if I'm looking at made 3-point shots tonight, which did not go down for the Boston Celtics in the last game, Tatum over 3.5 at +124. Jaylen Brown over 1.5 at a -114. Derek White over 3.5 at a -102. Drew Holiday 1.5 and Peyton Pritchard 1.5. If we're looking from 3-point shots here, because I always like the comeback, right? We know that the Boston Celtics, no matter what, Joe Ranieri, are going to shoot 3-point shots and shoot them at volume. Didn't work out in their favor. Is there a guy you're looking at tonight, if it was just the Boston Celtics lineup, to say, you know what? This guy could have a bounce back. Who would be the bounce back guy from 3-point range for you?
Well, it's going to be it's both. When you look at how absolutely terrible Tatum and Brown were in that game, shooting the three, and the fact that all but one of their shots in the third quarter, I think 19 or 20 of the shots in the third quarter, a lot from those two guys, were threes and nothing else. Yeah. I think Tatum and Brown are the guys that you have to look at. There are still some questions about whether Porzingis, he was sick. Is he going to be available? Is he not 100%? But also give credit to the Knicks perimeter defense. They know how to play the Celtics, and they know that the threes are coming, and they did a great job of contesting many of those and making life miserable for them. So if they do that again, it'll be interesting. But if not, I think Brown and Tatum are the guys that are going to make up the difference from what we saw in game one.
If we keep it simple from a Knicks perspective tonight, because we know once Jalen Brunson gets to the playoffs, it's basically Jalen's team and it all runs through him. Is there a guy outside of Jaylen Brown that you need to step up for the New York Knicks if they want to leave Boston with a 2-0 series lead?
Listen, of course it's Brunson, but Cat's got to stay out of foul trouble. Like, you can't have 3 fouls in the first, halfway through the second quarter. They are going to have to figure something out there, but you also got to take a look at a guy like Josh Hart here, and I think his numbers are a little bit undervalued right now. I think his PRA, his points, rebounds, and assists at 25.5. This was a guy that played 45 minutes in that game, in the overtime game one. He had 28 combined points, rebounds, and assists. This is the guy averages at least 26, 27 in the playoffs. I think Josh Hart is another guy that you can expect consistency from in this game, especially since all eyes are going to be on stopping Brunson.
And game number 2 tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That is the Oklahoma City Thunder as an 11-point favorite here at the FanDuel Sportsbook going up against the Denver Nuggets in a total of 229.5. And once again, if you're looking at the betting statistics on the FanDuel Sportsbook, Joe, everybody loves the Nuggets. And I mean everybody, how about 85% of the tickets? That's 85 out of every 100 tickets on the spread tonight coming in on the Denver Nuggets. Does that send shivers down your spine, Joe?
I tell you what, if they may love the Nuggets, you know what I love? Russell Westbrook's point total over 12.5 here. And I am going to play it up until the market adjusts, because he is the only guy coming off that bench that we know that we can rely upon. And he's playing some great basketball with them right now. So you want to keep giving me low point totals for Westbrook? I'm good to go. I'll keep betting it up and over here tonight.
By the way, Nikola Jokic to get a triple-double tonight, Joe Ranieri, minus 1050. Not like plus 100, not minus 2, minus 1050. Not a double-double. You heard me right. A triple-double for Jokic is minus 1050. But if you want to go down a little bit farther on that Nugget side, how about your boy Russ in OKC? Triple-double, used to do it all the time. 20-1 price point there. Fun stuff tonight between these two games. Much more NBA to talk about in just a few more segments here when JY joins us. But in the meantime, we got the PGA Tour to talk about. We got our guy Keith Stewart coming up next right here on the Early Line.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to SickScore.com and sign up for Sick Picks and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
First time on a casino floor and feeling a little overwhelmed? Well, here's a tip. Lots of machines have a free demo mode you can try for practice. So give those slots a spin in practice mode before you start putting down some real cash. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's...
Hour number 3 continues to roll along, and we cover everything, and I mean everything, from the PGA Tour to horse racing to the NBA. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and a lot of great information. Donnie Rightside joined along with Joe Ranieri. And now Keith Stewart, our resident PGA professional, joins us for the show. To get us caught up, Keith, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic down here, Donnie. I slept in my own bed last night. We're in Philadelphia, quick commute from New Jersey. I tell you what, the Truist Championship, I've already been around the property this morning. The Philly fans are showing up. They don't see the PGA Tour every week. Rory's here. Let's have at it.
Now, if we start here, Keith, with Scotty Scheffler to get involved, even though we don't have him in this tournament here, what he did last week, I mean, did he birdie every hole? Did I miss something here, Keith? Like Scotty Scheffler on an absolute mission. And also, why isn't Scotty Scheffler here for the Truist? Come on now, Scotty.
Hey, DRS, that was the first question that was on my mind, was that if Scotty's on a heater, next week at Quail Hollow, he doesn't play there a bunch. He's only played there once, and that was in the 2022 President's Cup. I mean, if I was him, the guy had 40 birdie chances, and, he had, 3 eagles and 29 birdies or something like that in 72 holes. It's insane. I mean, he lapped the field, and it was a field he should have lapped. And what the real storyline here is, Donnie and Joe, is the fact that we're heading into the PGA Championship. Rory's on a heater. Scotty's on a heater. Somebody's coming out of this signature win. They're going to be talked about. If it's Jordan Spieth, God forgive us all. He's going into a career Grand Slam opportunity at Quail Hollow. It's going to be insane next week. And I think, this week, again, I think the Philly fans are going to show up, and it's going to create quite some theater down here at the Wissahickon course.
So, I was going to say, tell me about this course here, because I know what it's the oldest country club in the United States here. They've gone through some renovations. What is this course, and what are we looking at here?
Well, Joe, it's the oldest established country club in the United States. They have the longest waiting list. That's why you and I are both still on it. But you know what? It's a par 70, 7,100 yards, which is going to be short for these guys' standards. And when they had to do some rerouting, because this is a signature event, you've got Rory, Ludwig, Jordan, all the guys are here, Xander. So they've moved some of the holes around. You got to pay real attention to the scorecard. It's going to be totally different this week, but it is a classic style golf course. And unfortunately, when it was designed, most of the carry distances on those dog legs, the cross bunkers, are right around 300 or 305 yards. Rory said it this morning in his press conference. He goes, if you can carry it 310, you're going to avoid a lot of trouble. So I think I'm just going to send it off every tee.
Distance always wins. We love to see that also. Let's get some of these Keith's keys out here. Rory's in there. Collins in here. Xander's out here. A lot of big names in this tournament. How do some of these players factor into this style golf course, Keith?
All right, well, I just gave you a preview of the first key, which is drive for show. The second one is putt for dough. Anytime you have 72 rookies, and there's 72 players in the field, go to a brand new venue, the putter always translates. So key number 1, drive for show. Number 2, putt for dough. And then the other thing is that this golf course, back then, you didn't have a lot of ways with which to try to create some sort of challenge. So what you see is 118 bunkers on this golf course. Joe, 60 of them are greenside, and that's the biggest challenge these guys are going to face. So those are my 3 keys. When you look at the top of the board, you've got Rory, a perfect setup for him. Xander needs a win going into defending next week, and there's some other guys that are pretty hot that have been playing well, like a JT.
Well, and I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken, right, Justin Rose is in this also here. Do you expect him, probably a big number, do you expect him to show up at a course like this?
Justin Rose this morning, around 65 to 1. Hey, the PGA Tour doesn't come to Philadelphia very often. When they do, Justin Rose wins. He won at Aronimink back in 2010, and he won the U.S. Open here at Marion in 2013. Joe, it's a great grab further down the board. For me, my early leans on the early line today, number 1, I am ready to ride the roller coaster. Jordan Spieth, plus 2,800, 4 straight top 20s, and he looked fantastic. The approach game is back. This type of place, the creativity you're going to need around the greens to score. Hey, guys, the Vegas over-under on the final score is 19.5 under par. You're going to need to make some birdies. We know Jordan can do it. And the second guy, Captain Keegan. Now, this Wissahickon golf course, it is designed by A.W. Tillinghast. He also did Bethpage Black. You know Captain Keegan's going to be fired up. He's a Northeast guy, Northeast golf course. He'll be used to the agronomy, and he can go deep. Remember a couple years of the Travelers ago when he won at 20 under par? You know he can do it here as well.
Love to hear it here. Great, beautiful golf course in the city of brotherly love out there for the Truist Championship. Keith, bringing all the heat that we needed today, and may those tickets cash in your pocket out there. Thanks, Keith, for joining us this morning. More NBA Talk next as the coach comes on to join us next.
knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The NBA is hot right now, hot with underdogs. Will that trend continue? My goodness. Will the fandom creep in from certain people that absolutely love those New York Knicks? We'll find out next. It's Donnie Wrights out at Stroh and Erie, and the coach, James Young, joins us. Oh, he's feeling good. Oh, he's loving life. Bing bong, New York Knicks. Go New York, go New York, go. Let's start there. How are the vibes today? Game day, coach.
You know, it's great to be on with you guys. Listen, at the end of the day, it's the worst it's going to be. It's 1-1, but not all wins are equal. I'm very concerned about this game, but I will say this: if the Knicks go up 2-0, good luck being around New York City sometime around 3:30. On Saturday, they may be more fired up than the St. Patty's Day parade. That's how crazy those fan bases are going to be. But let's pump our brakes because we got some games to talk about last night first.
Oh, we certainly do. Pacers and the Cavaliers, 120-119 final, a 2-0. Coach, 2-0 series lead heading back to Indy. Like, yeah, of course, the Cavaliers are up 2-0. Let's see what the Pacers got. No. 2-0 series lead for the Pacers. Before we even get to the game itself here, the way it finished for me, Halliburton gets that rebound. I'm winning this myself. Watch me take this step back. Dagger, coach. You got to love, as a coach, to see your player say, this is my game, this is my team, this is my show. You had to love to see that.
You know what's really amazing, and we'll get to the late game last night, is the coaching malpractice and the executing malpractice by 3 of the top teams in the NBA, right? You look at the fact of OKC obviously fouling, right, with Nikola Jokic on the sideline. And then obviously the fact of giving up a transition 3 off a missed free throw, which is something I don't think I've ever seen in my entire life. You have the Boston Celtics shooting 70% of their shots from the 3-point line when they couldn't hit the broad side of the barn. And then you get to Cleveland, who was undermanned. Donovan Mitchell puts the whole team on his back. Max Strus is making plays. They're winning the whole game. And you can't get a rebound off a missed free throw? Like that. This is how wild this kind of stuff, guys, happens in the NCAA tournament, right? Like wild finishes, like can't get the ball. All right, now how about this? I forget the fact that it shouldn't even have been that point because you can't even get the ball in bounds on the sideline out of bounds. Like The things that went on and are going on in the playoffs is absolutely maddening. And everybody wants to talk about teams winning it and stealing it. Yes, but there's got to be so much more blame on the lack of execution by the three biggest favorites on the FanDuel Sportsbook to win the title. The three biggest favorites, and not even close in the numbers. The fact that those three teams lost like that, you got to wonder, is it going to come back to bite them over the course of their whole series?
You also got to wonder, Coach, home court advantage does not mean what it used to. We haven't had a home team win yet, and yet the market keeps rolling out these double-digit spreads all over the place. It's the second round of the playoffs. These teams are very experienced. It feels like the numbers are all out of whack here as well.
And I think the one thing people have to understand this, just so people know this. 7 out of the 8 teams to make the Eastern or Western Conference Finals or semifinals are the same as last year. All you've done is, I think you've swapped out Dallas for, I forget who they swapped out for, Golden State, who has championship pedigree themselves. So, guys, we're not talking about teams that have not been in this spot before in the second round of playoffs. You got seasoned teams. You got damn good coaches. And you look at it, it's like, oh, well, Indiana, they're terrible. Indiana had 50 wins this year. Knicks had 51 wins this year. The only team you're looking at and saying, oh, well, maybe they don't belong. Well, Minnesota and Golden State had 49 and 48 wins and a loaded Western Conference in which, all 8 seeds had 48 wins or higher. We're not talking about FDU, versus Purdue here. Like, we're not talking about, St. Peter's. We're talking about teams that can play. And that's why it's so wild that the point spreads are so nuts that it's almost like the odds makers are daring us to say, go take the underdog again. Because they don't think it's going to happen. Be careful, folks. Just because lines go up doesn't mean you got to bite and take them.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch it play out. And if we re-rack that series price between the Cavaliers and the Pacers, now that the Cavs are down 0-2 in the series, it's a minus 198 price point here for the Pacers, the Cavs at a plus 166, which can feed off these last 2 games, Coach. Number one, do you think that this series is still salvageable for the Cavaliers? And number two, what's the health status that we're looking forward to for the Cavaliers? Because if they're not healthy, they're not winning this series.
No, because what happens, Donnie, is because Indiana's now become the sum of their parts, right? Yeah. It's deeper than Halliburton, Turner, Nembhard, who I loved going into game 2, was at like 5.5 to 1 to lead the series in threes. I'm like, wait, why are people not betting this? Well, he's now jumped out to I think he had 4 or 5 last night. You look at Mathurin, you look at even Toppin, you look at McConnell. They got a number of guys, right, that can score the ball. And Cleveland is about the sum of their parts. So when you take away their starting point guard, when you take away their starting power forward defensive player of the year, when you take away arguably the second best sixth man of the year award, probably behind Peyton Pritchard, now your strength is now becoming your weakness versus the team that literally can just keep rolling out lineups and repeat the process. It's about that. So now the question is the series over? I don't think it's over, but that series spread of Indiana minus 1.5 games and minus 124 is really enticing because I just got to get 2. I just got to get 2. And I got it in my own building. Can I see there being a split and it being 3-1? Yes. But then I don't see, boom, 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 lose 5, 6, 7, including 6 at home. Minus 1.5 games at minus 124 for Indiana Pacers seems like a pretty good bet the way they're playing and the lack of depth right now in Cleveland. And by the way, shout out to Indiana. Like, I want to know what kind of rabbit foot or 4-leaf clover, what they got. Because every team they play in the playoffs the last 2 years, everybody seems to get hurt right when they get to play that.
Kind of amazing, though, Coach. I mean, one other thing here. To me, it's amazing. It's just maybe it's a generational thing here. But the idea that not 1, not 2, but 3 of your main guys in game 2 of in the second round of the playoffs didn't even give it a go is just absolutely mind-blowing to me here, Coach. And now they're down 2 games to none.
It just thinks about what kind of maybe toughness or lack thereof. You look at last year when the Knicks had Game 7, everybody knew OG couldn't go. What? Right. OG just gives it a go. Brunson, banged up. Like, to me, that's when you start to question a little bit about the mental toughness. Now, listen, at the end of the year, we know, you know it is, guys. Are you hurt or are you injured? Right? There's a difference to me. Everybody's hurt. You play through being hurt. Or are you injured? My thing is, if you're injured, you do everything in your power, including more muffs, to see if you can give your team any kind of emotional lift. But I guess they didn't need it. It's not about the lift for Cleveland. It's about the finish, because they started out hotter than fish grease, and then they kind of closed up shop when it got down to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, fourth quarter, absolute collapse there, but also in the other series that was taking place there, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Golden State Warriors. We're not a serious organization for the Timberwolves right now. I just don't feel like we are. You have a 5-game smashing of the Los Angeles Lakers. You're home against the Warriors. 13 minutes into the game, you have the superstar in Steph Curry go down. Should be an easy victory for the Timberwolves, end up losing to the Warriors. But we're going to re-rack that series as well with the coach, and also get right into who's going to win game number 2 in the Real Garden. Yeah, the Real Garden's in Boston.
Hey,
Coach knows it. He agrees. We'll be right back.
Show up.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
they
does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take
I'm not doing that. The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round pick.
There were 2 perfectly rated quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
It's the NBA playoffs, and we have the Coach James Young with us now to sort of dive into what actually happened last night and then what's going to happen tonight here. And last night, the Warriors, 99-88. You might look at them and be like, yeah, the Warriors won a couple games in round number 1 to those similar scores. Makes some sense here. But the Warriors were coming off of a game number 7. The Timberwolves were rested and ready. The Warriors lost their best player in franchise history before the game started, it felt like. They only played 13 minutes in that game, and they still lost in embarrassing fashion here. 2 things I'm going to ask you, Coach. What happened last night? And if Steph's down for any period of time, 2, 3, 4 games the rest of the series, can the Warriors actually do this without Steph?
No, they can't do it without Steph. But I got to give the Warriors a lot of credit. And listen, people are going on saying Steve Kerr is doing a great coaching job. It ain't that. 2 words. Bad buddy. That bad buddy saved your you-know-what, Game 7, and they repeated the process again. So obviously you're getting this out of Buddy Hield, one of the best shooters of this generation, but a guy that can't guard a cone. So where's the issue? Go to the other side for the anointed one, the one that could beat anybody in a one-on-one game. The one that I said, man, could be a top 5 player in the NBA at the end of the season. And that's Anthony Edwards. And you have 1 point at the break. So now you're sitting there and you look at the end of the game and saying, well, 23-14. Ant was great. Oh, God, no, he was awful. Awful. Disengaged. Some of his shots were absolutely out of bounds, particularly shooting from 3, where I think he should have been like, no offense, I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler, you're tough, but I'm taking you to the rack because I am more physical than you are. I am younger and more athletic. So to me, it was just an embarrassing performance by a team that should have looked across the way, saw Steph hurt, and say, we got you. Now we're going to close it out. Instead, their immaturity stepped in and said, Steph's hurt. We're okay. Now it's 1-0. Now you've lost home court, and now you go to Game 2. But I do think if I'm Steve Kerr, honestly, I'm holding Steph Game 2. I'm actually holding him Game 3. I'm not bringing him back until I am down in the series, because you guys know you come back too early from a hamstring, those 2 weeks could turn into 2-3 months.
Yeah, exactly. You take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back in that spot there, Coach. All right, speaking of Game 2 here tonight, your New York Knicks taking on the Celtics. Talk about embarrassing. 45 missed threes was embarrassing for the Celtics. However, I don't see them changing their game plan in any way, shape, or form. They're still going to chuck it up, Coach, because it feels like they got one gear, and that's shoot a bunch of threes, and the math will work out. What if it doesn't tonight here, Coach?
If we're down 0-2? I mean, let's be honest, guys. I mean, someone's got to explain to me how the Celtics go from 8.5-point favorites, lose Game 1, to 10.5-point favorites in Game 2. Okay, can the Knicks get blown out? Yes, but the sample size of the last 2 game times that New York has played Boston with their full roster, Knicks lose by 2, Knicks win in overtime by 3. Okay? So when you look at it, people are like, well, Boston missed, 45 threes. Well, Karl-Anthony Towns was in foul trouble. Besides the one, before Mikal Bridges hit the 3 1/4, put him up 6, he was 2 of 12 from the floor. And they fouled Mitchell Robinson, and he looked like Chris Dudley on the foul line because he couldn't make a free throw, shooting 3 of 10. The team shot 54%. So now I'm telling you that Boston's going to play better, but I think New York's going to play better too. And we don't notice that as a Porzingis. There's another guy just, is vanishing in the thin air. So to me, I'm taking the 10.5 points if I'm New York, because I think Tibbs is going to play this game close to the vest again. They're going to find a way to be in the game. And let's be honest, if the Celtics don't blow out the Knicks, if this is a 3, 4, 5-point game down the stretch, with all due respect, folks, who are you trusting? Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, or Jalen Brunson, who's the best closer in the league?
If we are looking at this game tonight from a player perspective, Coach, because it's a lot of fun, total around that 210.5, a lot of 3-point shots missed here in game number 1. We were talking earlier here, myself and Joe, who's going to be that 3-point guy for the Boston Celtics, but you're a Knicks guy. I need to hear from you tonight. Like, what's the game plan tonight? Is it Jalen, go in there, take the basketball, dominate the ball, or who do you need to step up tonight? Like, what has to change? Because the one thing we do know is if the Celtics made an average amount of 3-point shots, they would have beat the New York Knicks. They didn't. Let's just say those shots go down. You have to counterpunch. Outside of Brunson, let's just say, who's your key player on the New York Knicks tonight?
It's Cat. It's Cat. I think Cat's going to have a monster game. Because if there's no Porzingis, Al Horford ain't going to be able to run around with him. And then if Al Horford comes out of the game, then you're putting in Luke Cornett. So I'm looking at the bigs, I should say plural, Cat and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson with his rebound prop, Cat points plus rebounds prop. I think if I'm New York and I look at Horford and I look at Cornette, I'm saying that's where my advantage may be. Instead of going outside in, going through Brunson, go inside out. Cat establishes himself early. If Cat is himself, and he should be able to dominate Al Horford, that's another reason why the Knicks stay in the game. It's going to be a big game from Cat tonight.
Better be a big game for Cat here tonight. Are you leaning over, Coach? Because it feels like the total, if both teams play better, we're getting more than doing our 11 points, are we not?
Yeah, this game screams over to me because I think you're going to get better offensive basketball on both sides. You're going to get a better Cat. You may get Bridges hit a couple of more shots. Brunson will be Brunson. Maybe you get a little bit less from OG. But then on the Boston side, I just don't see them shooting the ball like that. And if they are, the bigger question is, and this is the biggest problem with analytics, is take the analytics and throw it out the window. Put your head down, drive to the basket, get to the foul line. I'm sick of this analytics. I'm sick of this don't take up pull-up jumpers. It is a farce. It is ruining basketball. If you got to get to the rack, get to the back. And I'm looking at you, out of all people, Jason Tatum. Stop the pretty boy ball and play some big boy ball because it is the playoffs now.
Let's see what happens here. The Celtics are 370 favorites still to win that series. The coach and Joe Ranier will close out the early line next. Stay tuned.
Donnie?
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't know what he was doing taking step-back threes at the end of that regulation when he's got bigs on him and he should be driving to the hole.
It's already bad enough that I'm playing with all these NBA and D1 studs that are unstoppable, and I'm the worst one there, and I can still ball with them. But if I start calling fouls, they'll revoke my privileges. Like, I man up when I play with them.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in the early line here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Ranieri alongside the coach, James Young, as we're getting ready for the NBA playoffs to continue tonight. We talked about the Celtics and the Knicks. That'll be your first game up tonight. The next game, coach, is going to be, of course, Denver taking on OKC. Denver shocking the world by showing up and winning on the road. And now, well, here we go again. We have 11 points now that we're laying with OKC to bounce back. And I don't get it, Coach. I really don't. Denver's now proven not only can they go toe-to-toe with them, because I believe They went toe-to-toe during a regular season with them and split both games. What are we going to get here in a game 2? Is it a blowout to you in this one as well?
Absolutely not. I mean, let's be honest. Denver has won 3 of the last 4 matchups versus OKC. And you just look at the fact of they have the best player in the world. And I was so impressed by watching that timeout in the second quarter and seeing Nikola Jokic imploring his guys. And it's something that I've not seen in a while. You saw every player eyes glued to the Joker. Now, he did turn around and turn the ball over first possession out of the timeout. But I saw a team that people forget won an NBA championship not too long ago. A team that's got the best player in the world. A team that's got, a really good, at times, playoff performer and Jamal Murray. And they got 2 guys that when they play well, and that's Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., that are flat out dangerous. Do I think Oklahoma City wins the game? Yes. Do I think Oklahoma City wins it by 12 points? Absolutely not. They will keep this game close, and I think they will find a way to cover the points. Give me Denver plus 11.
All right, and let's talk about it, Coach, because as long as they keep hanging these ridiculous numbers on Russell Westbrook, I'm going to keep betting his over points prop. It was 10.5 on Monday. I know you sat there. You and I were both in agreement. We're going up and over, and now it's 12.5, and I still not buying it. The guy's going to play 30 minutes. Russ is cooking, man. What else is there to do here, Coach?
And here's the thing that I don't understand, right? Let's just be honest here, folks. If they're going to hang an over-under of 229.5, you mean to tell me that Russell Westbrook can't get 13 of them? Like, they kind of work hand in hand, right? He's going to play starter minutes. He's going to have an impact. He will be in the game, late game situations, right? And he'll find a way, because of the fact that OKC can get up and down the floor. This is the kind of matchup that benefits Russ. It's not like they're playing the Lakers or a team that slows the game down. They want to get out and run. And who's the most athletic player on the Denver Nuggets is Russell Westbrook. You're also looking at the fact that SGA is going to win the MVP, and people are all of a sudden talking about Russell Westbrook like they're putting dirt on his grave already. It's a prideful guy. And he thinks still that he's the greatest player in the history of that franchise. Probably he is until SGA plays a longer career. Russell Westbrook will find a way. He ain't shooting no 4 or 5 shots in this game. He gonna get up 10 shots. Are 1 or 2 of them gonna be bad? Of course they are, because that's what he does. But he'll get enough to go over 12.5 points tonight. I think he gets 15. Even look at maybe 15 plus at plus money.
And I mean, let's face it, when they won the championship, they had a pretty good 6-man coming off the bench there in Bruce Brown, didn't they, Denver? And now Russ, boy, that starting 5 with the length, the athleticism, the toughness. You got a reliable 6 guy coming off the bench. Denver is dangerous. You think Denver or the Knicks have a better shot at winning the series outright now, Coach?
That's so close. Because you got to go with the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic to see what they can do. I don't know. Maybe the orange and blue skies are out here in New Jersey, and now all of a sudden I'm looking at the Knicks and saying, hey, they got a shot. Either way, both series are going to be exciting. I said 6 beforehand, and they both go 6. Don't be shocked that one of these teams get picked off because they are well coached and they have veteran presence. But either way, this is going to be exciting basketball in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
I'm all for it. Gotta love the playoffs. Coach James Young, we appreciate it as always. We'll see you again throughout the week. You'll have another edition of the Early Line tomorrow. Enjoy the games. We'll see you then.